Have you ever had technology completely fail you right before something really important and felt that mix of horror and shame and full body panic and, oh my God, this is going to end my career because everybody's about to watch you crash and burn in real time? Well, have I got a story for you. Years ago, I was all set to do my first webinar. Thank goodness it was being hosted by another company. Otherwise, this story would have been so much worse. But I was all set. I had my slides done well in advance. I did a practice run with the host. I talked down my inner critic the night before. The topic was burnout and reclaiming your calendar. Stuff I know inside and out. So I didn't wake up anxious that morning. I was excited for a new opportunity. About an hour before go time, everything's set. Slides are in presentation mode, the lights are all arranged, the citronella collar is on my Pyrenees so that she can't add to the conversation. And I'm checking my email and I notice that my computer's just a little bit wonky. So I figure I'll just do a quick reboot so that there's no lag or freezing during the webinar. Biggest mistake ever. I click restart, the screen goes black, and it stays black. So I walk away, do a couple things, and come back and realize my computer has launched some sort of an update. So I try to talk myself down. It'll take 5 minutes, and we still have nearly an hour. So I go fold some laundry, one of the bonuses of having a home office, right? And I come back about 10 minutes later, and my computer's still updating with this big message that says, "Do not power down." Now I'm down to about 40 minutes, and I'm starting to feel some actual panic here. You know, the kind of panic that completely hijacks your brain and says, I can't even contact anyone because my computer's down. Because, I don't have this phone in my pocket that's a little mini computer that I email from constantly. So once I get my head around that, I pull out my phone, I send a quick message to the host who, emails me back quickly and says, relax, everything's going to be fine. We have plenty of time. But my gut is telling me otherwise. So about another 10, 15 minutes passes, and it is clear that my computer is doing a massive Windows update. So it is time for some serious rapid problem solving. First, I take another breath and I count my blessings. Okay, all my slides are in Canva, which I can access from any device. Cool. All my passwords are backed up on my phone. Excellent. We're good. But I still need a device. So I'm thinking about it, and let's see, running a webinar and slides from my phone, that's not happening. Maybe my Kindle? But the learning curve, if it's even possible, I don't have time for. Oh, wait, the library. No, no, they don't open till 10, and guess what time my webinar starts? That's right, 10 a.m. So I start kind of thinking about all the neighbors and who's working and who might be home and who might have a laptop they can bring me. And I remember one of my neighbors was supposed to be out running errands, but I call her anyway, just praying. And I get that answer. Are you ready for your big presentation? Are you home and can I use your laptop? Oh God, what's going on? So I tell her everything. She tells me she was about to leave at 9 and just had some sort of weird feeling and stuck around for a little bit. So thank goodness for her intuition, another blessing. And then she goes, but my computer, my laptop, it's a dinosaur. It's old, it's slow, it doesn't hold a charge. And I'm like, dude, it is better than what I have right now. So I'm down to about 15 minutes before start time. I send the host a third update. Laptop incoming, probably going to be late. My amazing neighbor shows up. We plug in her antique laptop and I get it hooked up to the Wi Fi and start downloading all the apps and logging into everything that I'm going to need. And I give her a big hug and she says, Jen, what do you always tell me to do? Huh? Breathe, she said with a smile. I needed that. So I took a couple deep breaths. My hands are still shaking. My mind is racing. My humiliation is in full bloom because I am now officially 8 minutes late to my own webinar. I join in, and luckily, the host has been chatting with all the attendees, keeping everyone entertained. And internally, I'm an absolute disaster. But I know that I need to show up like everything's fine. So I try to sound calm and just dive in. I find myself rushing through everything while I'm thinking of where I can cut material to make up for the late start. To ease my tension, I swap out some of my planned examples for, the tech disaster and crack jokes about it along the way. And I get to the end, and during the Q&A, someone asks me, "How were you able to do this?" If that happened to me, I'd be under my blankets sobbing for a week. Confused, I thanked them and said, "I assumed that you could all see I was pretty flustered and scatterbrained." So we wrap everything up, and of course, I'm not happy. I was embarrassed, and I felt like I blew this great opportunity. And my stupid computer was still updating. It finished 4 hours after we were done, at which point I immediately turned off automatic updates. Lesson learned. After I settled a bit, I really considered the demeanor of the attendees. Looking back, it was like I was this fighter pilot coming in for a hot landing, only to discover that everyone else had been meditating on the tarmac while they waited for me. But I still just could not bring myself to watch the recording of that webinar for days. Finally, when I was in a good headspace, I hit play and I realized I'm a freaking badass. You see, I know the internal disaster that was happening when I presented: panic, adrenaline, horror. But in the video, I look calm, I look collected, even witty, and that's what everyone else experienced. Unlike my perception in the moment, my voice never shook. My eyes were not wide with fear. I looked normal and competent. And that's why everyone was so amazed. They assumed that my insides matched my outsides. Now, of course, my inner critic told me how much better the presentation would have been without the tech meltdown. But was that true? Because I picked up a few clients from doing that series, in part because they were so impressed with how I recovered from one of their worst nightmares. So, what's my point? Technology fails, we freak out. But those failures can actually make us more relatable. They humanize us, and they're rarely as bad as we think they are. Because even when you feel like you're barely holding it all together, chances are people are seeing something completely different. Your composure, your ability to adapt, your expertise, not your inner meltdown. So here's my question for you: how often in your life do you assume that you completely blew it when from the outside, people might actually be thinking, wow, they handled that so well? And now give yourself a little love and a pat on the back because you deserve it. And if you want more stories like this, tech disasters, weird cats, and reminders that you are doing better than you think, go ahead and hit like, maybe subscribe, and stick around because there's plenty more coming.